think it's kind of funny because I've been going over the podcast. Now, do you listen to the podcast?
No.
Okay, well, you and everybody else. But it's kind of a funny thing when you listen to the podcast and you see some things that we say a lot, like that you don't realize when you're just talking, but when you listen back to it, it's like, oh, we say these certain phrases a lot. Like, I think we had to have said, if you like blank, then you'll love blank.
Oh, really?
Like, we said that so much because we were doing recommendations, right? So, we were trying to get it across, but, it's almost like a catchphrase at this point.
Well, geez, we'll try to keep going.
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
And we know about you and saying like. You like to say like.
It's not my fault. That's
a lot of people, though. That affects a lot of people. Anyway, this is episode 3 of the Stagler. Episode 3, no idea what the subtitle is. You know, but we don't know. So isn't that exciting for you to know what this episode is called?
Wow.
That's gotta be something special. I'm Justin, and I'm here with my co-host Nick. Say hi, Nick.
Hello.
All right, thanks. And what have you been doing this week, Nick? What's been up?
Well, I've been preparing rigorous hours of watching TV.
Tough work.
It's
backbreaking.
It's so hard.
You're a real hero. Tom
Hanks movies. That's all I've been doing to prepare for this podcast. I've only been watching Tom Hanks movies, and yeah, I have literally not seen anything else other than a movie with Tom Hanks that in it.
And why aren't you going to talk about these Tom Hanks movies right now?
Because if you listened to last week's podcast, you know that this week we're talking about Tom Hanks movies in the spotlight. So we'll get to them later. Don't worry. You want to hear my takes on Road to Perdition?
Ooh.
You can stay tuned.
You want to hear my takes on, what was it called?
Sully?
None But the Lonely Heart. Ooh.
I don't know what that is.
Exactly, and I bet a lot of people listening don't either. Well, I had a busy week. I watched quite a bit.
Good.
I've been keeping up with Battlestar Galactica. I'm like halfway through season 2. It kind of took a backseat this fortnight. But, still like it. I'm still into it.
Good.
I'm still in there. I'm still eager to see where that goes.
Cool.
Either last episode or the episode before, maybe both, I don't know. But at some point, I talked about the Clone Wars animated series final season that,
I've heard
coming out.
That it is, these last, 2 episodes or something have been, really, really
right.
good.
I said in an earlier episode that, these Clone Wars episodes were just a fun little offshoot. They didn't... No. These last 4 episodes, these are the ones that you need to see. They do add another layer to the story here because you get a lot of new stuff with Maul, which is always really cool to see. Because it's not really spoiler, but the part where the episode just ended, the newest episode, and the final episode, they come out on Fridays, but I'm pretty sure the final episode
on Monday.
Is coming
on
out
May the 4th.
On May the 4th.
Yes.
Because, Spock's famous catchphrase, May the 4th be with you.
Absolutely.
So... that's exciting. And the last episode ended when, he goes, execute order 66. And that, that's where the episode ends right after that. So it's very exciting to see what this last episode's going to be. It's good. It's really good. There's money into it. You can really see the money. I've been really enjoying it. I can't wait for the last episode.
I will catch up. I've seen the first 3 episodes of the final season, but I will catch up.
Now, I watched 3 other things. I watched one that most people are probably going to be familiar with right now is a new movie, brand new, from HBO. It's Bad Education with Hugh Jackman and Allison Janney that came out this past fortnight.
Okay.
And you didn't see this one? Well, you just said that.
No.
All right. Well,
I didn't.
It's a story about a guy, Tassone, played by Hugh Jackman, who is kind of a weirdo. Kind of a little bit of a weirdo. He's a superintendent of schools, I believe. And it's basically this whole scandal of embezzling money from a school, and it's this breakout case of how it got found out. It got found out actually from a student reporter at the school who kind of broke the story. And it's a very interesting movie. Hugh Jackman's performance is very good. It is a really great, powerful performance from him.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of positive stuff about this movie. I would have to say that I don't agree with all of the positivity it's getting.
Okay.
I think Hugh Jackman is so good. I think he rises above what this movie deserves.
Gotcha.
Which is that's really harsh. But I really do think he is so good, and the writing, and the development of his character, doesn't do it justice. I don't think he gets enough to work with. I mean, there's a lot of great scenes. The accelerate scene, if you know what I'm talking about, is a great little like breaking point almost for his character. So you see the cracks in his personality. And Allison Janney, she's in this barely. I mean, she's in like the first third. She kind of disappears, and I understand why from like the movie's perspective of like the story, because obviously it's a real story. She kind of just fucked off, but I don't know. I wanted more of her.
Yeah. Great actress though.
Yeah, exactly, and she does a good job too. But overall, definitely give it a watch. I'm not as super in love with it as I'm seeing a lot of people are, but it's definitely worth it, at least for Hugh Jackman's performance. I think he really knocks it out of the park in this one.
Maybe I'll check that out.
Maybe you'll check it out.
I like Hugh Jackman, so.
Yeah. Next, I watched a Polish film, which is interesting.
Ew, subtitles. Gross.
Yeah, I had to read subtitles, so I learned to read since last episode.
Wow.
And I watched Corpus Christi.
Oh, that was, yes.
Yes, which was last year's
was a nominee.
But
Not sadly.
It's not sadly, but how are you supposed to compare?
They got unlucky.
They got unlucky this year.
They went up against Parasite.
That's true.
It happens.
Because it really was quite a good film. I did enjoy it. It's about a guy he's a juvenile, and he in juvie he kind of connects with this priest, and he's like, hey, I want to join the seminary. I want to become a priest. And he's like, there's no place that's going to take you because of your record. He's really bummed about it. They send him off to a sawmill to basically work, and that's just going to be like his life,
Yeah.
He sneaks off into town and sits in the church, and he tells a little white lie and says that he's a priest, and the lie builds up, and then he becomes this town's father, and it kind of rolls from there, and you see where it goes. And the performance from the lead, I don't know how to say his name, so I'm not even going to try.
Give it a shot. Come on.
No. And it's really well done, also because I don't have it in front of me, but it's really well done, and he is quite good. And the ending of this movie is pretty challenging, I would say. It is a very challenging ending, but I did enjoy it. I would say go in with an open mind for the ending of this one. Try to just sit in silence, or like watch the whole credits. Don't just turn it off and get on with your day. Just kind of sit with it for a bit and see how it treats you by the end. And so yeah, that was a Polish flick, and then I watched an Icelandic movie.
What the heck is wrong with
crazy.
you?
I
Why
don't know.
Are you watching American movies?
I just got overcome with weird G's and C's in places they shouldn't be. So I watched A White Day, which is like brand new as far as I know.
Okay.
And this movie is a movie about grief and a guy who loses his wife in a bad accident, pretty tragic accident. And it is a very unique movie. It's told in a kind of weird way because the actual event is basically never addressed. You kind of pick up the whole plot from like context almost.
Okay.
And that's why I was pretty disappointed with the last act of this movie, because the rest of it was so unique and so done in a way that isn't tropey, or it's not how a mainstream movie would approach it. And then the third act kind of falls into this like, oh, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
It kind of follows the same beats, and you're like, oh, right, I wish this would have kind of unfolded in a different way. But it's still worth a watch. I didn't like it quite as much as Corpus Christi, but worth a watch if you're into film at all. Not much else to say about it. Where they are is the weather ranges from like literal whiteouts because it's all snow or whatever, and then beautiful green pastures and everything. It's crazy. And yeah, I liked it overall. So then I have
White Day.
A white day. Then we have the thing I talked about last week that I would be doing, that I would be doing talking about this fortnight. And that was the Twin Peaks: The Return, the newest Twin Peaks series. And so do you want to know if it was good or bad? Answer:
Daily Double.
It's good. It's really, really good.
You watched all of it?
I watched all of it.
Okay.
I literally this morning, I watched the last episode before I came here.
Fresh.
I am fresh off it. In the last episode, I didn't check the ratings, but I could understand if people were pissed off about it, because that being the ending is like a gut punch. But I did I mean, I'm not gonna say appreciate it, but I did understand the ending. It is David Lynch. Just, it feels like, and I really don't know. I haven't looked much in the background of this because I didn't want to get spoiled on anything, obviously. But it feels like this must have been a cathartic experience for David Lynch, because I feel like a meta commentary kind of coming through on his own career and like the people he's worked with, and his life, basically, because this is like the end of something from 25 years ago. It's like looking back 25 years and being like, what did it mean, And the performances from Kyle MacLachlan he's so good in this. He plays two different characters.
Oh.
And they are completely different characters. Like, you would not believe that they're the same person. He does, and it's not like it's makeup. He's the same person, but he plays two different people, and it's insane what he's able to do.
Ooh.
Just with subtle facial expressions and the way that he talks. He really knocks it out of the park. And guys, I just gotta tell you, episode 8, which is Gotta Light, is basically just a short film from David Lynch injected into the middle of the show.
What?
And I thought it was, well, it talks about the background, some lore stuff of the show. It's kind of like the origin story of like the antagonist, basically. And it was so good. It was so Lynch, and he the way that he does like gore and like how he inflicts terror. I think it's masterful. I have nothing to say but good things. If you like the original series, you'll love this. There's something about it that I really respect, and it's the fact that it is not nostalgia bait. It's not like, oh, look at this character. Every character ended up exactly where you want them because it's a happy ending. Oh, look, they got together because that's what you wanted. That's what the fans... It's not just like giving the fans what they want.
Avengers
it's not. Right. There's a lot of things when they want to pander to nostalgia, they just give you everything that you ever wanted. But no, he had a clear vision and he went with it. And I really think it paid off, and I respect him for it a lot. And also, there's like people in this that I would have never expected to show up. Remember, I always forget his name, and I feel so bad about it because he's been in so much stuff. But remember, he played the billboard guy in 3 Billboards? Who was like, oh, you got to pay 3 months ahead of rent.
And he's in Get Out?
Yeah, and he gets beat up by, Sam Rockwell and thrown out the window.
I don't know.
That guy, I know, I always forget it. But he was in No Country for Old Men, too. And,
yes.
Right? He's in it. Amanda Seyfried is in it. Michael Cera is in it. Robert Forster. All these people.
Rest in peace.
Right, and he does a great job, too. And it's all these people that just show up out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. That's all I got to say is, guys, if you like the original series, it's a must watch. It really is. It's a send-off. I hope that everybody likes it as much as I do, because it really was a treat for me.
One more note. The final episode has a 8.8.
Good.
So
okay.
it means most people
very
much enjoy it.
Because it's more of an epilogue episode. I mean, it's not, but it feels like an epilogue episode more than the finale,
Yeah.
And Cheryl Lee, who I believe plays Laura Palmer, she's got a scream on her. Her scream is so good.
Good screaming.
She's a good screamer. That's like half of her lines are just like screams, and it's awesome.
Good for her.
And that's almost wraps up my fortnight. But we did watch one thing.
Oh yeah.
That we didn't talk about yet. And what is that? Since you haven't spoken in a little bit.
The season finale
of
Better Call Saul.
And it was
so good.
Really great. Very exciting. Like we said last podcast, very Breaking Bad, and I feel like that's going to be the last season is going to be the high intensity, high risk, high stakes, feeling that we got from the later seasons of Breaking Bad as well, or any season of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh man. What do we say? I will start with the meme that has birthed from this episode of Lalo putting the window down and smiling when he puts the window down.
Yeah.
He's just there smiling. It's very funny. And I laughed for a long time. And Nacho. God. Nacho's done for.
Have you listened to Michael Mando's single?
No.
He made a single. I think it's just a single, like a song,
Okay.
And what do you think his music is like? Do you think it's like country? Do you think it's rock?
I don't.
It's like early Michael Jackson. Like
Really?
Michael Jackson is like one of his like inspirations, and I listened to it, and it's pretty good. And it was just something that I never would have expected, like that, like high pitched, kind of ooh music. It's not what I was expecting at all from him. But yeah, he did like an AMA on Reddit. That's where I found out about it, and he seems like a really cool guy. There's something that I read in that from him that I thought was very interesting, where he said that improvisation and stuff like that is something that they 100% try to avoid all the time.
It's the script.
The script, they stick to it 100%.
Yeah, on the podcast, the Better Call Saul Insider, they always talk about the script is like holy.
Yeah.
On the set of Better Call Saul, everything is the script, which is crazy.
Yeah, but that is great, and that is good to know, because that means they have a plan.
Yes, they do, indeed.
It really boggles me, just thinking ahead into season 6, about we see the cunning of Lalo in this episode. Being caught off guard and still doing everything that he does, like setting a trap and everything. It makes you wonder how he's gonna be stopped.
Dude,
when he can act so well under stress and under pressure, what's it gonna take to take him out?
I don't know. When he goes through the tunnel and he circles back around and he just like puts the gun in the tunnel and just shoots down. I was like, dude. And then the end when he sees that the one lady that cooks or whatever, I don't remember her name.
Right.
And basically his whole family that was there completely murdered. Yeah, he's ready to go kick some ass. And it's not looking good for a lot of people, because he knows Nacho is definitely on his radar now. Right,
because Nacho's body wasn't there, so what's up with that? Also, I thought those guys were supposed to be the best of the best. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Oh, man. They do get done goofed on. They're not great. I mean, oh, man.
They tried their best. That's what you can say.
What are you going to do?
They tried their best. That's all you can ask for. I mean, they're dead now, so it doesn't matter much, but
there was like 5 of them?
Yeah, it's kind of sad, really.
And then the first dude sets up a terrible shot where he's just like in the window.
Yeah.
And then it's just bad. And then the rest of the guys are like, oh, let's go get him. And then Lalo just dumps on him.
All we know is that we're up. Well, Nacho and, Kim and Jimmy and Mike are up against an enemy who doesn't sleep. He doesn't. And is like ruthless. He's basically a Terminator, is what I'm saying.
And he's very angry.
And he'll be very angry.
He's very angry now.
So season 6 is just, that's where it's gonna all happen. It has to. And then we'll get the spin-off Nacho series. Finally.
Right, because he's totally not gonna get shot in the face.
Totally gonna live.
It's either Nacho's going or Nacho's dad is going. Right. And that would be tough. Because I think it could be his
forgot
dad.
to mention, Nacho's dad is in Twin Peaks.
What?
Yeah, his character shows up. He's like a security guard for one episode.
Nice.
I thought that was interesting.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, his dad is probably going to get killed by Nacho. And then, or not by Nacho, by Lalo. Excuse me.
Right.
And then either Nacho's going next, or maybe Nacho will try to get with Saul, and they'll call up the vacuum dude. And Nacho's gonna go bye-bye.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's not good. Also, Kim. Why does it have to be? Oh, this is so upsetting.
Why do they have to make such a good character?
How dare they?
Yeah, and do this to us. It's unfair.
Nobody saw or thought that it would be Kim that sends Jimmy over the edge.
Down the bad choice road.
Yes, to become Saul Goodman. And does it make for great television? Absolutely.
Yeah. We just need to see at what point because I'm pretty sure the first thing we literally see of Saul in Breaking Bad is him like lusting over Francesca. He's like, let me take you out to dinner. And she's like, not in your life, Saul, or whatever. He's like, one of these days. So let's see him get there.
Oh, dude. I'm very excited for the next season, but I'm very scared.
Right. Saul will be okay.
We know 3 people that'll be okay at least. Well, 3 main people.
It'll be good. I
have no doubt.
I'm not worried. There's enough people with talent working on it that I don't think one person could destroy it.
And hopefully we get to see it sooner rather than later.
Probably later.
But hopefully not.
So next we have a segment that is reserved for box office news. At least that's what we thought when we started this show. But as you know about the box office, it's non-existent. It's been deleted. And now this segment is the Trolls World Tour segment. So
yes,
let's take it over to Nick. What's going on in Trolls World Tour land?
Guys, I'm going to say this, and I mean this. This is like a 100% truth statement. Trolls World Tour has literally changed movies.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has made almost, nearly, I'm sure by now it's past, $100 million in rental fees.
That's good.
That is insane. And the first Trolls movie made $153 million at the box office.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, and it's only been 3 weeks. Trolls did 5 months in theaters, the first one.
Yeah. So it's really up there.
So this is like totally changing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Universal, who does Trolls, said that they're thinking about in the future possibly doing, since this was so successful, they would do side by side at the same time, release in theaters and release on VOD at the same time.
That makes sense.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense. But then this is when it gets crazy. The theater chain, AMC, is very, very upset about this.
Okay.
And like the CEO or whatever of AMC literally said that they are not going to play any Universal movies in their theaters if they do this.
Any Universal movies at all?
No Universal movies at AMC.
Why would they say these things?
Because they are upset, apparently.
How does that change anything? Like, they're literally just kneecapping themselves for no reason. Because then what are all the people in the area with AMC theaters going to do? It's like, oh, I guess I'll just rent it. Like, what?
Exactly.
You're not stopping anything.
It's a tough look, but I think it's really funny that Trolls World Tour is changing the way we watch movies.
Yeah, and again, we'll see more movies probably go straight to video on demand, instead of even doing theater releases at all. Movies like Scoob, which, is skipping theaters and doing it, going straight on demand. I think later this month in May, which is weird because it is going to video on demand when I thought it would have went to HBO Max because it's Warner, which Warner Media owns HBO, right? And so
I don't know.
Right. Well, I would think since HBO Max is starting May 27th.
Yes.
And this was slated to come out like the 15th in theaters. I thought they would just straight up just send it to HBO Max, but no, they're going to do the rental service instead. But you'll be able to check that out later this month to rent. Probably the $20 to rent,
Scoob. Give me your best Shaggy impression saying Scoob. Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I need like a quote though. I can't. What?
Raggy?
Well, that's. I meant like a Shaggy quote to like, oh, Scoob, we gotta get out of the car. And you know who else is in Twin Peaks? The guy who plays Shaggy in the live action Scooby-Doo. I'm totally serious,
bro.
He's so good in it. He's actually really, really good. Scoob, do you want to? I don't know what to do.
Like Scoob.
Like Scoob.
This is totally crazy.
Why is there a ghost in my car? He does that thing where his voice goes high and goes, oh.
Raggy?
Rats. Raggy.
Okay, we have embarrassed ourselves enough.
That's all right. What's your best Daphne?
Does Daphne, what does she even sound like?
I'm a girl.
There.
That's Daphne.
We'll let that be there.
Okay.
And Velma and Fred don't really
Scoob. Think. It's kind of fun to do the Shaggy voice.
Shaggy and Scooby-Doo have the best voices.
Yeah, they do.
The rest are just basic.
My glasses. I can't see without my glasses.
Yeah.
And then, who's this? We should split up. Shaggy, Scoob, you go away. I'm going to stay with the two women.
Fred, man. Dude's a player.
He's got a nice ascot. The thing he ties around his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a serious question for you as we continue off from Scooby-Doo. Do you know what vor is?
Sadly, I do.
Okay, well, even though I feel like, and maybe this is really sad to say, even though I feel like our target audience should know what vor is, just in case they don't.
Don't look it up.
Well, let's explain. What is vor? Can you give an explanation to what vor is?
I resign from this conversation.
Okay, well, vor is, it's like a kink, right? It is like, where a person gets eaten by another person and like sits in their stomach, and I think it's sexual. I don't know. Yes?
I mean, yes, people get sexual gratification.
Now here's the
out
thing.
of it.
I've only seen vor in furry context. Like, I've only seen furry vor.
Dude.
No, I thought that was kind of weird that I've only seen it with furries. It seems like it's a strictly furry perversion, but perversion.
Oh god,
I like that one. Anyway, what do you call? I've seen on like TikTok, sadly, those like weird masks that are like dinosaurs or like lizards or whatever. Are those still furries, or is there a different name if you like lizards?
what?
Like furries are furries, and they dress up as like dogs. Are the people who dress up as like lizards furries?
Do they have a whole suit on?
No, I've only seen the mask, but like,
Why are we talking about this?
I'm getting to it. I'm gonna look it up.
Probably not, because reptiles aren't furry,
But
right?
what are they called then? Are people
Idiots? Weirdos?
What do you?
I'm sorry.
Call
Everybody, you are free to do
lizard
whatever you want to do, and I will
furries.
respect that.
Scalies. Oh, that makes scalies. That's the worst word I've ever heard in my life. Is a furry term.
Okay, I understand what a scaly is. You don't have to explain
Used to
it.
describe both reptiles and amphibians. All right, sure. Anyway, you for $10, you listener, right now, for $10, can scaly vor your way to fame if you wish. Because Chris Pratt, as
What?
part of the All In Challenge, has offered a part in Colin Trevorrow's upcoming Jurassic World Dominion for you to be eaten by a dinosaur on screen in the movie for $10. And it's a raffle, right? They're only picking one winner. But for $10, you can enter a drawing to be eaten by a dinosaur in the new movie. And you'll be completely recognizable. You'll be on screen and you'll get chomped up. I don't know by what. I don't know if you get to choose, but you will be eaten by a dinosaur in the movie. And I thought that was a pretty cool thing, and it's for a good cause. You know, it's the All In Challenge. They're doing stuff for the money's going toward Feeding America, Meals on Wheels, World Central Kitchen, stuff like that. Stuff to get food out to people in these times. And I don't know, I thought that was a really neat prize for people. Okay, what?
Yes, that is very cool.
Yeah.
But you could have said that without talking about vor at all.
But the thing is, that's what they're giving though.
No,
No,
that's not what it is. Someone just getting eaten by a dinosaur.
that's what vor is. That's what scaly vor is.
But they're gonna die.
Do you not die? Do you not die?
No, they like go. I don't want to talk about this.
Okay. Well, there's other people doing these kind of. I think Chris Pratt put the video of this up on his Instagram. He got challenged by Justin Bieber.
Great.
And he challenged Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Evans. And there's other people doing this, like Martin Scorsese. He's doing it as well. But his prize, I think it's the same thing. It's like a donation and it's a drawing. Is a part in Killers of the Flower Moon if it ends up getting funded, I guess. But his, I don't know. This one sounds more exciting to me. His, I think, is literally just a walk-on. And I don't know if that means literally a walk-on, like you just walk by the camera and you happen to be in the movie. Or if you get like one line, I assume you're literally just walk in the background somewhere, you know.
That would still be sick.
It would still be sick, but I think getting eaten by a dinosaur where your face is clearly recognizable is even sicker.
Well, yeah, that would be cooler.
If I won this, I'd want to go out in the most vicious way possible. I'd want my death to be very expensive and very gory. I'd want to be eaten by like 14 T-Rexes and then like get picked up by a pterodactyl, like only my head. And then I'd want it dropped into a volcano. That's what how would you want to be killed in the movie by a dinosaur?
Oh man. I want to be, okay, you know how they like pick you up? I want to get picked up by like my feet. So like his mouth is like over my feet.
Okay.
And has like half my body. And then he does the thing where he like shakes his head back and forth. Yeah. And I just rip off and go everywhere.
All right. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Or like a bunch of tiny ones like compies.
But then, no, never mind. I can't think of anything.
Can I get eaten by a dinosaur, and while the dinosaur is eating me, I get like shot by like a guy with a shotgun, like trying to kill the dinosaur, but he hits me instead, and my body flies in a million pieces, and like the blood sprays down on all the main cast, and they're like, "Oh, that guy had so much blood," and then they move on with the movie. That's what I want. That's a lot for $10, but still, you know.
Sure.
Next in news, we have the Zodiac Killer. He's back. Ted Cruz. He has a bill. What? Ted Cruz bill, the Script Act, which guess what this stands for?
The Script Act.
Stopping censorship, restoring integrity, protecting talkies. Because they really wanted it to be called the Script Act.
I can tell.
It aims to block Pentagon help to studios that censor films for China. Which this is a pretty political story that we have here. And I don't know, man. Is this bill really doing anything? If you block the Pentagon from helping films that censor films for China, so let's like say Star Wars or whatever, right? Or the new Top Gun, right? Does that mean that they're just going to get censored here too, so that they're technically not censored? You know, we just get the China version too? Because that sounds like what's going to happen. Because would they really give up the Chinese market entirely just to keep a flag in the movie, you know?
Right.
I feel like if they... And this hardly is even like, I'll say the word attack, but like an attack on China, right? Like I feel like if you really want to go after China, there's much better avenues to go through than movies, stopping movies from being censored. But I don't know. I think that this is just kind of a bunch of nothing.
It's
to me personally.
It sounds kind of silly.
I was surprised to learn that a lot of people don't know that the Pentagon and like the Department of Defense, CIA and stuff have a hand in movies, especially obviously movies that show the military. You know, there's kind of a trade-off there because I'm pretty sure they've been doing that since like the 1940s.
It is called propaganda.
Continue.
That is all.
Okay. Well, it's been going on for a very long time. I think it's more like, hey, can you maybe shine a more positive light? So it's propaganda in a way, I guess. It's propaganda in a way.
I mean, they're not gonna, if you see a movie, like if you see a war movie or like any movie with like American soldiers or anything, I would say 99% of the time I've never seen a movie where in the end it's not America on top, and there's a reason.
Right. I think the only one that I know about specifically, and this is a weird example, is that like in Meet the Parents, in the Meet the Parents with De Niro, because he's in the CIA, right?
Sure.
And they're like, oh, can you not have him like have these torture handbooks and everything? Can you like not put that in the movie? And they're like, oh, okay, sure. We won't do that. So, but again, they actually keep pretty tight tabs on anything they do change. We're not actually aware. There's no like, as far as I know, there's no list of like changes that they've made. So we don't actually know what changes they've demanded. Only the people doing it know. So who knows? Maybe there's something going on there.
Could be.
Okay. Yeah.
Could be. You never know.
But this bill, I don't know. It seems, I mean, the acronym enough is just kind of like, okay. Talkies, really?
Talkies.
They script them. They can't be script them, but whatever.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, they've helped in movies like Terminator, Iron Man, all the Transformers, because they have all the military and stuff. Like they've been in there,
Yeah.
This next story is something that I picked specifically for you, so you probably already know about it.
For me.
Because it's about The Expanse.
Ooh, The Expanse.
And I'm sure you already know about
The
this.
Expanse is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm sure you already know about this, but season 5, obviously with the outbreak and everything, did luckily finish filming ahead of shutdowns.
Yes,
So
sir.
they're totally cool. And the Expanse actress Shore Agdashlu.
Yes, listen. Okay, so she plays a character in The Expanse, obviously. She has the best voice. When you hear her voice, you'll be like, I know that voice. I've heard her before.
Yeah.
She has the best voice in the entire history of the planet.
Yeah, and she was in Portlandia.
And, very important, she's also in Destiny, the game.
Lakshmi?
Yep, she's
I
Lakshmi
thought so.
2, the future war cult leader in Destiny. Love her. She's great.
Yeah, because Lakshmi does so much.
In the first game, she's kind of important.
Okay.
Well, not really, but she's a good side character.
But yeah, there's been a few shows that have had a problem because of the outbreak where they haven't been able to finish filming.
Well, did you know The Expanse has no problems because they're in space.
Oh right, there's no virus in space.
It's not in space, dude.
That's very good of them. The Walking Dead sadly does not take place in space. Neither does it like Arrow or stuff like that. But no, good for you specifically. Very specifically good for you.
Yes. Oh, guys.
Last fortnight, we talked about Hellraiser. So we're going to talk about Hellraiser again.
More like Hell Setter.
Okay. Hellraiser series in the works at HBO. David Gordon Green.
Who's that?
I don't know. He did Halloween, the new one, 2018.
Never didn't see it.
Of course you didn't. You don't even need to say it anymore.
Okay, we'll just assume. I haven't seen a lot of horror movies. Jeez.
You've seen Hereditary and Midsommar and The Lighthouse. And did you watch The Witch? He's on board to direct a pilot and some probably other episodes of the movie series. There's a series, Hellraiser series. So last fortnight we talked about the Hellraiser movie, which is a reboot from Spyglass, which is not attached to this series. This series is a continuation of what we already had because the Hellraiser movies, there's like 10 of them,
yes.
Which is like crazy. And this is going to be a continuation of that, so we'll see. Who knows if it'll be good? I don't know anymore. And not quite lastly, but we're getting there.
Lots of news.
Some Oscars news.
Oh boy, here we go.
Do you want to lead the discussion on this one?
I can. So, the Oscars, what day was it? Like a few days ago, released they're like updates to the new rules for the Oscars. And one of them is for this year. They say this year only, but we'll see how that turns out. That streaming only movies, like movies that are strictly only on streaming, will be eligible for all of the categories.
Right, because before you had to have had a screening in Los Angeles for like a certain amount of time, 2 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. So that's like really big news for a lot of people and a lot of things.
But the thing with this is that as far as we know, it's this year. It's not.
Yeah, they say this year only.
It's not a continuation forever. It's just this year because of the circumstances.
Yeah. So we'll see how that pans out. Trolls World Tour for Best Picture. I'm already campaigning.
Ozzy Osbourne for Best Supporting Actor.
It's gonna be crazy.
Now there was like one other pretty big.
The other big one, and I have some things to say about this.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is pretty upsetting to me. I think it's not terribly upsetting, but they combined the 2 sound categories into just best achievement for sound.
What? So you're telling me the 2 sound categories are just sound? It's just sound?
It's just sound now. Because apparently most people in the Academy just don't understand.
Now, it is true that a lot of the times, I don't know if it's majority, I'd have to look, but a lot of the times, whoever does win sound editing does win sound mixing.
Yes, usually.
But of course, that wasn't the case for last year.
Right, yes. This year
Ford v. Ferrari in 1917 split them last year. So, I don't know.
There is a difference. And for people that don't know the difference, the difference is sound editing is like the actual like recording of the sounds that you hear in the movie. And then sound mixing is, of course, what they do after in post. Mm-hmm. And now they're just combining them. And they say that they can still award like 6 statues, so people that can win are still like sound editors and sound mixers and like, you know, a few other people that I can't remember the names of. They'll be able to win and they'll be on stage like the same time. It's kind of lame because the two categories are pretty different, but I mean, they're probably just, I would assume one of the bigger reasons they're doing it is probably to cut time.
Right. Which is
lame. There should be more categories. This is also a thing. That
right, yeah, because it seems like there's other things that you could cut before the awards.
More thing. Yeah, like 7 musical numbers.
Yeah, why don't we just do the winner? Well, I mean that wasn't even a thing. That was years later, but just do the winner song. I mean, I guess you want to hear all of the ones.
I don't want to hear any of the songs.
I know.
I don't care.
I don't know.
It's stupid.
It does feel oftentimes that it is trying to be a show more than like a award ceremony. It's trying to be award show instead of just giving people the recognition that they want. It's like getting the most people to watch the people getting the recognition.
OMG. You know? Eminem is at the Oscars.
Right.
Billie Eilish is at the Oscars. I don't care. I want Roger Deakins to speak.
Yeah.
And that's all. And then another thing that they dropped the ball on, I think, is once again, we go another year with no new categories. Very, most importantly, a stunt category.
Yeah, what a shame.
It's...
But the thing that I have to wonder is that in the minds of a lot of other people? Because, I mean, we talk about it a lot, you and I. But are other people talking about this, that there should be more recognition for stunt people in the industry?
There is. I mean, I think there's a pretty decently big following for a stunt category in the Oscars because those people, they do it, man.
They literally risk their lives to make the movies happen.
I would highly recommend watching like behind the scenes of like stunts and stuff. They really, really do it. These people just like jump off of buildings and blow themselves up, and they just have like a suit on.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's sad that it's something that's been forgotten and left behind for so long when it's such a pivotal part of almost every production nowadays, you know?
Right.
It's like almost every movie you watch is going to have stunt person in there somewhere, you know? Because if you have an actor over 80, if they need to sit down, you're going to have a stunt person for that, you know?
Right.
So who knows? One day, maybe it'll happen soon. Next year.
Stunt category.
Let's hope.
They really missed out.
They did, but what's new?
It's a shame. I feel like probably people have wanted the stunt category for a while, but I think it became a big thing when the John Wick movies started coming out, because that was kind of like because stunts were like really big back in like the 70s and 80s and stuff before they had like this incredible CGI that we have now. And now lately, obviously, most big blockbuster movies just try to do all CGI so they don't have to like do any of this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But then John Wick, of course, brings this like new wave of action, and a lot of people appreciate it, such as myself. It's really, really cool, and it always looks better than a computer.
Right. The one thing you just hate hearing about is the horror stories of stunt people where stuff goes bad, and then if they aren't properly taken care of afterwards by the studio and everything, they don't hold accountability. That's the stuff that you hate to hear. So I feel like the people who literally risk their life probably deserve a bit more recognition.
Yeah, it sucks.
And they're usually attractive because usually they look like the stars.
Exactly.
So it's not like you're bringing Uggos up. People will watch, and they're usually super fit. So what's the problem?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know.
Who knows?
We have one little thing next. Do you want to bring it up?
Yes, there was been a trailer. Hello. When was the last time you saw a trailer?
2 weeks ago or
Exactly.
4 weeks ago.
Long time. No trailers coming out anymore, but recently we got a trailer for a new TV show on HBO Max called Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country, isn't that a writer?
Yes, it is. I really don't know much about Lovecraft or anything.
Oh, you don't?
No. Okay. I mean, I know like the Call of Cthulhu.
Sure.
And I have some friends that are pretty into it.
I have a good idea, but continue.
But the show seems interesting. I don't know how HBO Max is really going to work.
Me neither.
So I don't know if I'll get to see it.
But it's from Jordan Peele. What's his hand in it?
Jordan Peele and JJ. I don't.
But Jordan Peele and JJ Abrams both have a hand.
They have a hand in this show somehow.
Yeah.
But the trailer, it's real short. It's basically kind of like just a teaser trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. It's pretty interesting, especially if you're into Lovecraft stuff.
Right.
I know a lot of people are.
And you expect when you see the name Jordan Peele on it that it'll kind of have an edge to it, you know, talking about like racial issues and stuff like that, you know.
Right.
And these eldritch monsters. Right, yeah. What do you think of H.P. Lovecraft as a person?
I have heard, I don't know much about him as a person, but I've heard that he's like really not a good person.
No. Yeah,
like,
well,
at all.
yeah, he wasn't great necessarily. I do hope they talk about his cat. Do you know about his cat? Can you just do me a favor and just get on Google on your laptop?
I feel like I have heard about his cat, and it's not good.
And just Google H.P. Lovecraft's cat. And you at home, you can do the same thing.
I know. It's the name of his cat.
Yeah, what's the name of his cat?
You can't say it.
You can't say. Why can't you say the name of his cat?
Because it's not good.
Oh, okay. Well, you at home, if you want to know the name of H.P. Lovecraft's cat, just look it up, and you'll see.
It's really bad.
See,
he's not a good person.
Why would you name your cat? Aren't you supposed to like your cat? I don't know. I'll be looking out for it. You know, I like Lovecraftian horrors and stuff like that.
Yes.
It does look at least interesting, and Omar's in it from The Wire.
The Wire.
Yeah, so that'll bring me in too. And I think that's the news for this fortnight.
I think we did. That was a lot of news.
That was quite a bit of news. We had quite a bit to say. So that means that it's, you know, thanks for listening to that part. Now we're gonna T Hanks on over to T Hanks.
Okay. All right. It's spotlight time, baby. And we're going to talk about Tom Hanks movies. Let's do it.
Where do you want to start? Actually, just start anywhere.
Want me to just pick a movie?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, man. Okay. We'll start with kind of an older one.
Where are we starting?
Big.
Okay, that's the one I was going to start with too, because, oh boy, how do you feel about Big?
I liked it.
You liked Big.
I did.
Okay.
You didn't like it?
I have a lot of, well, not a lot of things. I have one specific thing to say, which it's not a new thing that anybody's hasn't said before, but you go ahead. What were your thoughts on Big?
I guess I'll say I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, sure.
And I feel like you're just gonna destroy me after this.
No, it's not nothing like that.
I will say it has not aged well.
That is definitely true.
It has not aged well. There are some really, really uncomfortable moments.
There's one very questionable part of this movie.
Yes, I think I know what you're talking about.
And personally, I gotta say, I was with you for the first half of the movie, but I'll be honest, that scene kind of destroyed the entire movie for me.
It's very tough. It is. I think it's this movie's rated PG. This is not a PG movie.
Yeah, this is
in 1989 when this came out or whatever. It was a different time because let me tell you,
lax back then.
This movie's not rated PG.
He drops an F-bomb at one point. Yeah,
literally, dude,
like the little kid.
And then another thing I had about it was there is some really bad dubbing in ADR in this movie.
Yeah,
and it was very frustrating to me. But other than that, I thought it was a fun little movie.
I thought it was a fun little movie. So again, if you don't know the movie, it's about this little boy who can't ride a roller coaster, and he's upset that he's young. You know, he wants to be big. That's the name. He wants to be big.
Yes. So
he finds a Zoltar machine that grants you a wish if you can toss a quarter in his mouth.
Yep. That's it.
And he wishes to be big, and he wakes up one morning and
he's Tom
Hanks, and he's like 20 something, and he's big. And then he lives a life. He like gets a job, and he does. And this all sounds really fun, right? Well, first of all, let me just say, the sections with the mom are all horrifying, and I did not laugh at them. I was too sad to laugh at them. The very first scene where he turns into a grown man and he runs up to his mom and he's like crying. He's like, he knows he's big and he doesn't want to be, he kind of regrets it a little bit. He runs up to his mom. She has no idea who this man is. It's this random man in her house. And she's just like, please don't. And then he runs out, right?
Yes.
And she breathed a sigh of relief. Then he runs back in to the home, and she like starts freaking out and backs up into the kitchen. And he's like screaming, "Mommy, mommy," and crying or whatever, this grown man. And she's like, "What did you do with my son?" She pulls out a knife, and she's like, "What the hell did you do with my son?" And he's like explaining, "No, I have a baseball team. I go to this school," and all these personal facts about her son. So, she's like, "Oh, this guy must have been stalking my son for a very long time." And then he's like, "Oh, I know." Of course, he's 13 or whatever, so it's not like he knows how to approach the situation better. But he's like, "Oh, I have a birthmark, under my right knee or something like that." So he pulls down his pants, only to reveal that this grown man is wearing her 13-year-old son's underwear.
Tough look.
And she freaks out. She starts swinging, and he gets out of there. And I don't know. It didn't. I was not laughing. It was too sad. It was too real. The actress did too good of a job. I guess in retrospect, it makes me laugh, but it was honestly a horrifying scene, and I did not get it. Also, the dad disappears. The dad's in the beginning of the movie, and then he never shows up ever again. When they're at like the fair.
That is true.
And then he's just gone. I thought that was bizarre. Anyway, the part that really bugged me though, where this 13-year-old boy and the body of a man invites a girl over to his apartment, and they're gonna have a sleepover, and then they fuck.
They do. And
so you have a 13-year-old boy with like a 30-year-old woman.
It's very tough.
And I thought it was...
It's not what you want.
When I was watching it, I was like, oh, they're going to stop. It's like, oh, they're just going to kiss. Oh, he's just going to grab a boob. Oh, okay, well, it just happened. And it rubbed me the wrong way.
No, it's not good.
I could not get over it, especially because I don't know if it makes it better or worse, but it's never brought up. It's never addressed because she eventually finds out that he is a little boy.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, okay.
She's like, fine. And then he goes home.
The ending is stupid.
And is it better that they don't address it? Would it have been better if he turned to a little boy and she just started puking all over her car? Like, what would have been better?
I think it's just leave it the way it is.
I think it was you just take this one scene out.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Right,
yeah. But I mean, there's no doing that at this point.
I would still give this like a watch out of 10.
A watch out of 10.
But
for the piano scene.
Or just look up the piano scene on like movie clips on YouTube or something. Or whatever it's called.
That's true.
I don't know. It just really bothered me.
No, I agree. It's not good.
Yeah. It was a pretty good acting from Tom Hanks, though. Like, he really did believe that he was a kid.
Like, all the little, like, different mannerisms that kids do.
Yeah,
like,
not even...
moving, like...
Right, not even just the voice. It was also his
movements.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, great job. Tom Hanks, good actor, believe it or not.
Wow.
Okay. Give me one.
The next one I have is Philadelphia. From
Philadelphia. How's the song go?
I don't remember. Yeah, it's a popular song. The Jonathan Demme movie.
Yes, and I saw that.
Right, and he did Silence of the Lambs, which is that's a pretty good movie.
I love
too.
Silence of the Lambs, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So you saw this one too?
I did see Philadelphia.
Good. I really liked it. I bet you really liked it because you love court scenes, and this movie is 50% court scenes.
This whole movie is a court scene almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My thing, I did like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I liked it. I mean, I liked it, but I think...
But you'd recommend it watch or don't watch? You'd definitely give it a watch?
Definitely watch it. Mm. But I think all the court scenes are very good. But I would say that like 80% of the scenes not in the court were just like, to me. Except there's the one exception of the scene where Tom Hanks dances.
Yeah, so
or sings or whatever he does.
So this movie is about a lawyer named Andrew Beckett.
Based on a true story.
Right. Loosely based, I believe.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And they call him Andy in this film, which made me think about how he was almost Andy in Shawshank. So I couldn't get that out.
And he plays Woody in Toy Story. Andy is his...
Oh, yeah, true that.
The kid. Makes you think.
About what?
Connected universes.
Oh.
We'll get to that later because Sully, when we talk about We'll talk about the Tom
Okay.
Hanks connected universe.
All right. I've got something like that too, actually. What the hell was I saying?
Something about.
Oh yeah, it's about
what it's
a
about.
gay lawyer, Andrew Beckett, who contracts AIDS and is fired from his law firm because he's gay and has AIDS, and that's they're fighting against that, saying it's discrimination. And that's the whole movie. It's this court case, him against the company that fired him.
Yep.
And it's Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington is the lawyer that represents him.
Right. And they both do really good jobs. And I don't know if this is a hot take, but I do have some, I don't know. It was a different time, so maybe this was like the perfect movie for the time period. Because obviously in 93, the whole AIDS thing is still super relevant.
Right.
You know? But the Andrew Beckett that we get, he is gay, but he does feel kind of like a watered down gay person, if that makes sense. Like, just the one thing is like him and Antonio Banderas, who plays his partner, they never kiss.
I didn't even notice that it was Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Just to say, I was like, wow.
They never kiss. I think they hug once. You know, it's a very sterile. He says he's gay, but if he never said it, you probably wouldn't. Whatever. And I get that there's people like that, right? Like, that's not like every gay person is like a stereotype. But I feel like the point of the movie where you're showing these intimate moments and all they do is hold hands. It kind of loses a little. I'm like, okay, you can't. I don't know. Even a peck. Like, they don't even do a peck.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. It's just a very palatable gay person, so that everyone could, you know, swallow it easily and be able to take seeing that on screen.
Right. Plus, it's kind of older, so.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, for
in
the
like
time
the
period
90s or whatever. So
I guess it was
especially
more
for when it came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's
It would be
again
easier
coming
for
off of Silence of the Lambs, where it's like a transsexual murderer freak. Like,
Right. Yeah.
so it's I don't know. He's come back off of it, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about it.
I thought it was interesting that this movie was filmed in sequence.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I guess a lot of people maybe don't know, or some people don't know, where, you know, most movies, the first scene they don't necessarily shoot first. They shoot it in the order that is best for like time and budget. But this movie, the first scene is the first thing they shot, and the last scene is the last thing they shot. That's what it means to shoot in sequence. And part of the reason was because Tom Hanks had to lose like almost 30 pounds to properly look like he'd contracted AIDS and was like really sickly. So he was losing weight over the course of the film. And I think they actually told, to just make him look even thinner, they told Denzel Washington to gain weight a little bit.
Nice.
So there was like a story where he would just be like eating candy and chocolate bars or whatever around Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks would be on a diet of like nothing, you know?
Nice.
But yeah, overall, it really is a entertaining film. The court scenes themselves are
Yeah, the court
very
scenes are
good.
really good.
And I believe what else I saw was they're done in a real courtroom. It's not a set. They actually
really?
like went to Philadelphia
That's cool.
courtroom and filmed
Very
there.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do another one. Let's do Sleepless in Seattle.
Okay, I saw that one too.
This movie I could take some heat for this.
Okay.
Sleepless in Seattle is okay.
I agree.
We're going to take some heat, maybe.
Maybe.
Because a lot of people really like this one. I will say, the opening shot was really good.
Yeah. What's the movie about?
Tom Hanks is a man who his wife dies, and he is with his son. And he is very upset that his wife is dead, obviously. And then there's another woman. I can't think of her name. What is the actress's
Meg Ryan?
name? Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
She is engaged to this weirdo.
Walter.
Walter.
He's not weirdo. Walter. I like Walter. Walter. I have things to say about Walter, what happened to him, and how it's an injustice.
It is a tough look for Walter. And it's basically about how I think it's dumb. They fall in love, but they never meet each other.
Right.
Until the end when they meet each other and they're like, oh yeah, hey.
All right.
And yeah, there's a part where I can't remember who, but somebody sneezes Walter sneezes when they're at the table. Walter sneezes over everybody's food and nobody cares.
Yeah. Does that bother you a lot?
Yes. If someone sneezed on your food, are you going to eat it?
No, but
Exactly. Walter sneezes on like half the people's food on the table, and they're just like, "Oh, Walter, you're so sweet. Marry my daughter."
they're too busy talking about bees.
That bothered me. I don't know. It's okay. I was sweet.
That's exactly my problem with the movie. This movie is, what's the word? Saccharine. It's saccharine sweet. It's so over the top, lovey dovey at points, and so romanticized, you know. And I get that. At least I think I get that. It's kind of the point, is that it's so sweet. It's kind of a reversal of that, you know, tragic movie that they kept talking about the whole time, that old one. I don't remember the title, but they were talking how it was like, oh, it was so sad or whatever. But I think I would have preferred if it went with the sad ending, and when she got to the top of the elevator, top of the Empire State Building, they were just gone, and they just stayed gone.
I actually really liked it when that happened.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, this could be very sad.
I was like, good. I would have preferred that ending. But I think the whole movie's point was that it didn't end that way.
Right.
Like, I think the whole movie was leading up to, it was like, no, sometimes it is true love or whatever. So it's very sweet. It's sickeningly sweet. Makes me sick how sweet this movie is to my stomach. Also, I hate the kid in this. I just gotta say,
he's so annoying.
I hated the kid.
He's so annoying.
Because the Tom Hanks, his character gets that Victoria or whatever her name was, and she seems fine. Her laugh, like, the whole thing is like, oh, she's got an annoying laugh. Her laugh isn't even that bad. It's
Okay,
like,
I have to disagree with that. Her very frustrating laugh.
oh, I didn't think it was that bad. That's not what it was. Listen, I watched every.
Oh, you're so funny.
Yeah, I watched every season of The Nanny, so basically that laugh does nothing to me. I've got Fran Drescher protection up in here.
Okay, well, her laugh is annoying, so.
It's not that bad. But the thing is, it was like they made that the only thing, and I was like, oh, come on.
I agree.
They could have made it like an
much
actual
else. Other than
bad
that,
reason.
she's pretty okay.
And she's bad at cooking potatoes, I suppose. I don't know. The kid was annoying to me. Tom Hanks, I feel like, didn't even have enough to do.
He's fine.
It really felt like a Meg Ryan movie, you know?
I agree.
And poor Walter.
Oh, man. My dude does get played kind of dirty.
Is literally the end of the movie. They're engaged. She has his grandmother's ring. They're at a diner in New York, and she's like, hey, you're cool and all, but I heard a guy on the radio once say how his wife is dead, and he's over there in that building right now, so let's break up right now and never get married, and I'll never want to see you ever again. And he goes, yeah, okay.
Yep. Oh, man. I was like, bro.
He rolls over like a dog, and he's like, you know what? Sure, that's fine. I don't care that I've spent all this money on you and all this time wasted in my life, which is the only thing that matters is time.
It's a tough look for Walter.
And Walter...
He's just like, yeah, okay.
She doesn't feel satisfied with him because he sneezes, and his name is Walter.
He has a lot of problems.
He's just allergic to a lot of things.
Everything.
But it didn't bother her before. It only bothered her as soon as someone pointed out that it should bother her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, the whole thing was that there was no magic in the relationship. She needed magic.
Yeah,
she needed to feel a spark, and poor Walter just didn't have it for her.
Yeah, whatever. Sleeping in Seattle's okay.
It's fine. Let's save Toy Story for last. I think.
We're doing like just the whole series.
Yeah,
right?
let's do the whole story at once.
Okay.
Why don't we talk about You've Got Mail, because you haven't seen that, so I'll just blast out.
I haven't seen that
quickly.
one.
It's Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, and they fall in love over not seeing each other in person. And that's the movie.
Okay, sounds good.
Because they like email each other and they fall in love over email. Except they know each other in real life and they don't like each other in real life. Then they start emailing each other like anonymously and they like fall in love with each other.
Oh, so it's like the Pina Colada song.
And I actually really liked it. I'm ignoring that. I actually really liked it.
That is what it is like, though, and you know it.
I actually really enjoyed it more than Sleepless in Seattle, even though it has much lower ratings. But I don't know. If you like Sleepless in Seattle, you'll probably like You've Got Mail. It's just another romance movie, you know?
You've Got Mail.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Okay.
Sounds lame.
Sleepless in Seattle ends on the top of the Empire State Building.
It does.
Okay, what's next?
All right. We'll do another one. All right, I'm doing it now. The world needs to hear my take on Road to Perdition.
All right, I didn't watch it.
Road to Perdition is overrated.
Oh, what is it rated? Really well? What's up?
It's rated pretty well, and I know a lot of people that very much like it. This movie is okay, and no one can change my mind. No spoilers
Yeah.
in case you see it.
Actually, I don't care. Go spoil it away. I don't care.
Okay, this movie has a stacked cast, which is a red herring, as we know. Movies with stacked cast. It's got like Tom Hanks, obviously. Jude Law is in it, barely, but he's in it. I don't know why I'm blanking on. Oh, Daniel Craig
Yeah.
is in it, and then I can't remember his name, but very famous actor. This was his like last movie before he passed away, and it's just okay. It has a really good like premise. I like the story. It's basically about Tom Hanks is like an assassin man, kind of.
Oh.
And yeah,
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Yeah.
Somehow, and he has a family, he has a wife and 2 kids, and basically his one kid is getting older and like kind of figuring out what his dad is up to. And one day he sneaks in his dad's car. Oh, and this is set way back. This is like the 1920s. It's like Depression era America, and he sneaks away in his dad's car and to see like what he does when he goes out. So he goes out, and then they're in this building and they're talking to a guy, and he's like looking through the peephole, like watching to see what his dad's doing, and it's him and Daniel Craig and this one dude. And Daniel Craig like point blank shoots this guy in the head, and this bothered me. It's not like a big deal, but this guy is like on screen point blank shot in the face, and there's no blood or anything. Nothing. And I'm like, all you have to do is just cut away.
Yeah.
Or like, because later in the movie, another guy gets shot in the head and there is blood and stuff. And I'm just like, why not the first time? And the kid sees and he's like, oh my gosh. And then Tom Hanks finds his kid there and he's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to, do whatever. And then Daniel Craig, who is like the son of like one of the higher up mob dudes, is like, we got to take Tom Hanks out because, his kid knows. So then they kill Tom Hanks' family, his wife and his child, but not his other child. So then him and his kid, he's like, we got to go. We got to go on the run. They're going on the road to perdition.
Ah, yes.
And then the movie is them on the run, and they hire Jude Law, who, listen, Jude Law, Stanley Tucci's in this movie too. Anyway, Jude Law is actually really, really good in this movie, but he's like barely in it, and it really frustrates me because I feel like if he was in it more, it could have had like a No Country for Old Men level antagonist, because he's really creepy. He's a photographer that like takes pictures of dead bodies, so he like will like kill people and then like set up a camera and take a picture and then like sell it.
Creepy.
Yeah, he's very strange. He's really creepy in the movie, and there's some really good scenes with him, but the movie overall it really doesn't work for me. Tom Hanks is like okay in it. The kid is really, really annoying and like just not a great actor.
Yeah.
There's a big shootout scene towards the end that would have been really cool, but they put it like all in like slow-mo. And they play this like really lame music over it, and it's just the music. You don't hear anything, and it's just they set this really cool stage on the street, and it's like raining and it's lit by like these lamps, and you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be cool. And then it's just kind of a letdown. One thing that I really liked was not the end of the movie, but right before the end, there's a really cool shot that I won't spoil if you ever see it, but it's really cool, where basically Tom Hanks is looking out a window and then some stuff happens, and it's really cool. And then the very end is just kind of stupid. There's stupid narration from the kid at the beginning and at the end, and I was like, this is just dumb. It could have been great, but it was just okay.
And is it somebody I'd know? Director? Somebody?
Oh, geez, I don't even know. Let's find out real quick.
Okay. Because I thought it was someone I knew.
Oh, yeah. It's Sam Mendes.
Right, yeah, Sam Mendes. So...
Right.
Yeah, okay, so earlier in his
It was
career.
His movie made right after he did American Beauty.
All right, so yeah, coming hot off the tails of that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's directed well, but it's just it's more of a script problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just okay. I was really excited to see this one too, and it was kind of a letdown for me personally.
Yeah, that one is just even on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's just on Netflix. You can see it on Netflix if you want to check it out.
Yeah, because most of these actually aren't anywhere.
Right, yeah.
You have to like rent them.
You have to rent them. All right, that's, Road to Perdition.
Next, we could talk about Castaway, if you'd like.
Castaway? Sure. I haven't seen Castaway in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, me neither.
So I don't really remember much of it, but I do remember enjoying it. And it is, I would say, one of Tom Hanks' better performances.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I saw it so long ago in the scene where he loses Wilson. Obviously, I mean, I've never forgot it. I remember everything about that scene.
Right, yeah.
Wilson!
That is the thing that everyone kind
sorry!
of takes away from it. Yeah, is him just, being cast away, right?
The movie makes you care about a volleyball. You
Right,
you
how many
cry
movies-
in this scene where Tom Hanks loses his volleyball.
Yeah, how many movies can make you feel that for an inanimate object, right? But yeah, it's a good showcase of just how far he's gone. His sanity.
Mm.
Great performance from him. That was like late 90s.
I think it's like 2000.
2000
like right on the nose,
exactly?
2000,
Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and again, that one, it was a big hit with everybody. Everybody loved it.
Everyone loves Castaway. It's just a classic.
Yeah, it's a great one. We also have my favorite Tom Hanks movie featuring the word saving in it, and that's Saving Mr. Banks.
Oh, Saving Mr. Banks. Yes.
No, I haven't seen Saving Mr. Banks. Have you?
No. Why would no?
Because Tom Hanks is in it.
I know who's in it.
Anyway, let's talk about my second favorite Tom Hanks movie with saving in the title, which is Saving Private Ryan.
Matt Damon, which is Matt Damon.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that? I believe Spielberg casted Matt Damon because he wanted kind of a no-name actor who looked really American, had an all-American Boy Scout kind of look. And then the year before he did Good Will Hunting.
Oof.
So it kind of was he blew up because of Good Will Hunting, and then he was in this movie. So Spielberg was like, that kind of messed me up. So Shaving Ryan's Privates, it's guys, the first 30 minutes and the last 30 minutes, more specifically just the first 30 minutes.
I mean, everybody knows.
Yeah, everyone should know at the very least. It's, usually lauded as the best scenes depicting war ever.
I can't think of anything that's topped it.
Is this that specifically is probably the best scene depicting war, right? Is this overall?
Oh, I don't think it's the best war movie ever made. I think.
Do you have an opinion on what the best one is?
I really like Platoon.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Platoon is better. Full Metal Jacket is probably better. I have not seen Apocalypse Now, but I know a lot of people are like, yeah, that one's better.
This movie has the weird, I don't know why, and I can't remember if I felt this way when I watched it the first time when I was much younger, but it has that weird Spielberg thing where everything feels, at a certain point, everything feels safe. Do you know what I mean? The very final scene doesn't hit me as hard as the beginning does for some reason, and I think it's got something to do with the score and something with the way, even though people are literally getting their heads blown off and everything, there's something comforting about it by the end of the movie that is absent in the beginning of the movie. And again, this isn't something I can put into words, but in the beginning where there was things that the red waves splashing up on the beach, which is horrifying,
yes,
that I didn't feel seeing tanks get blown up in the last part of the movie. And maybe
yes,
it's just,
okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, maybe,
I feel most people would agree with that.
Yeah, maybe it's just the not subtlety aspect, but just the, I can't place it what it is, but there's something that doesn't feel as impactful about it by the end of the movie. It feels more movie. It feels very produced. And maybe that's because they said that, the beginning of the movie apparently wasn't even storyboarded. They shot it in sequence. The first part of the movie was in sequence when they shot that. I don't know if it was the first thing they shot or not.
Right.
But they started, for a couple of days, they shot everyone getting out into the water.
Yeah,
right?
I know. It took 14 days or something like that just to shoot the first scene.
And then the next few days they would do coming up right to the beach, and then they'd be getting to the bunkers, They shot it in sequence like that over the course of weeks.
Yeah.
And there really is a weird chaos, helplessness, whatever that you kind of lose by the end of it. And I do feel like it's a Spielberg thing. Like it has a similar tone to a lot of that stuff, and I don't know. It was just something I felt.
You mean like a Spielberg thing, like his movies like lose steam towards the end?
Not lose steam, but they just have a certain like comfort to them, and I do mean comfort. Spielberg movies can't scare me. They can't make me feel uneasy. There's always like some level, like he cares for the viewer too much to do that to him. You know, like Spielberg would never pull a David Lynch and have someone's head turn into a pillar of smoke.
You're telling me you weren't terrified at the end of Ready Player One?
I've never seen Ready Player One.
Oh.
But no, there is like a weird comfort to his movies because I feel like he cares too much about the viewer to assault their senses too much, if that makes sense.
Really?
Why? How do you feel?
Not even with like Jaws?
I don't know. There's a weird comfort.
Or Jurassic Park?
You're
just telling me the raptor scene in Jurassic Park, you're not like, oh boy.
I feel like there's a certain level of like production to it. I feel like he cares about the viewers, and it's not like a bad thing necessarily, but I feel like everything he does, he makes because he wants the viewer to get the most enjoyment out of it. He never wants the viewer to have even a second of like unenjoyment, where I think that is a tool that you can use to affect a viewer. Is like, you shouldn't be enjoying what you're watching right now. You shouldn't enjoy what you're listening to right now. That's like the point, you know?
Oh, okay.
But I still feel like there's some kind of comfort there in his productions where he needs it to be 100% tailored to the viewer. And, you know, I feel that's just how I feel.
Okay. I understand where you're coming
from. At least you understand what I mean.
I can understand that. Why were we talking about Spielberg?
Because of Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yes. Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, it's good. I mean, you know it's good.
Yeah.
It's great. It's got probably the best war sequence of all time in it. So.
And he does this thing with the tank with the pistol. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good movie. Let's do another one. Apollo 13. I'll just talk about it briefly. It's okay.
Yeah. This is one that I feel like I've heard was like overhyped for a lot of people.
It probably is overrated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Tom Hanks goes to space and they're supposed to land on the moon. They're supposed to be the second people to land on the moon after Neil Armstrong and Buzz and the other dude that nobody knows the name of.
Right.
Sucks to be
Imagine
him.
being the other dude.
Sucks to be the third guy.
It's like the third guy on our podcast.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a mic and just sits in the corner.
Yeah, and then something goes wrong. They can't land on the moon, and then they have to try to make it back.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they make it back. Spoiler alert. I mean, there's one scene that's really intense when they're coming back. So their plan is to, like, go around the moon, like, orbit around the moon.
Oh, and, like, slingshot?
And, yeah, I guess kind of. Yeah. They're using, like, the thing they would use to land on the moon. They're using that to propel themselves back to Earth, and they never could do that because that thing was only designed to just land on the moon. Mm-hmm. So they're like, the people back at Houston are, you know, trying to figure out all this stuff, and they're working really hard. And then the scene where they just do the first burn to just shoot themselves as fast as possible towards Earth, their like positioning system is like messed up.
Yeah.
So they don't know. So the only way they can do it is by eyeballing it, like through the windows.
That's safe.
In the thing, and they have to keep like the Earth at a certain point in the window, and they're just like shooting, and it's just like 25 seconds of like Tom Hanks and I can't think. There's really famous people in this movie, Kevin Bacon, and they're just like go up to the left,
yeah,
and it's just like really intense, and then they get back, and it's like yay.
But one scene can't save a whole movie,
right? Other than that, it's just all right.
Okay.
And of course, Houston, we have a problem. You know, it's got a classic line in it, but
right.
It was okay.
It was okay. What should we talk about next? Do you have any? You said you had something with Sully. Are you saving that for later?
No. I mean, we can do Sully whenever.
Okay. What's up with Sully? What's your thing with this?
I like Sully a lot.
Okay.
I thought Sully was really good.
Yeah.
As one of the few that I watched where I was like, this is really good. I really like Sully.
I mean, didn't this come out like a year after Captain Phillips or something? 2 years maybe?
I think it was a few years.
Okay, yeah.
Did you see Flight?
Mm-mm.
With Denzel? Okay, so I can't compare. It's a really emotional movie. It focuses more on, I would say it focuses more on like the people aspect rather than just, yes, Tom Hanks is the main character and he plays Sully, and he
is on the poster very big.
Right, and he flies the plane and he lands it in the Hudson River, and then he is like the main focus when they're at their hearing or whatever to, see if he done goofed. But they show like all these different storylines, like at least, I mean, there's got to be like 5 or 6 like different, just like normal people, like you've never seen these actors before.
Right.
But it's just real, like just real side stories where you see them and you just realize these people are just normal people just going to get on this plane to go somewhere. Like one of the groups of people, it's like 2 brothers and their dad, and they're like running to make the plane on time.
Oh yeah.
And they don't make it on time, but they're like, please, we're like right here, like just let us get on, or and you're like, dude, like because what's gonna happen. And they're like, and she's like, fine, I'll let you on. They're like, oh, thank you so much, we can get on. And then obviously what happens, but it's just really emotional, especially once they land in the water. It is really intense when they land the plane in the water, and then everyone is like, oh my gosh, like, and everyone's okay. And when they're getting out onto the wings of the plane in the river and stuff, the way like people, just like normal people, are just like helping each other and like, trying to do great things for each other. It was really emotional for me, and I got like kind of worked up. I was like, wow, it's great how like, people can just come together like that. And the way they recreate the plane on the water, and when all the boats come obviously to help rescue people, it looks like exactly the same. Like when they show footage at the end of it,
oh, that's cool. Yeah,
it looks like literally exactly the same. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And it was just, I don't know, it was very beautiful, and I liked it. It's not really as much of a like character study of the Tom Hanks character, Sully. I don't remember his full name. It's like Captain something Sullinger or something like that. We'll just call him Sully.
All right.
But I very much enjoyed it. And the very final line of the movie is funny, and it just kind of ends. Kind of has an abrupt ending. They come to the conclusion that he couldn't have made it back to the airport.
Right.
And that was his only option to land in the water. And one of the people asks Aaron Eckhart, who's like the co-pilot, they're like, would you have done anything like differently or something than that? Something like that. And he says, I would have done it in July. And then the movie just ends. I swear. And I was just like, yeah, it's kind of funny. But my thing with the connecting universe comes later when we talk about another movie.
Well, then talk about the other movie.
Okay, Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, right.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, Catch Me If You Can is Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
And Leonardo DiCaprio is like a dude that like pretends to be people.
Okay.
So he's really young. And this is based on a true story too, apparently.
Oh, really?
So he's really young, and he pretends to be like a lawyer, and then like he's basically, the main thing is that he's forging checks.
Oh, gotcha.
And like basically making himself a millionaire because his dad lost all of his money to the IRS, and he's trying to make it back so they can go back to the old way of living, like him and his dad and his mom or whatever. And Tom Hanks is FBI, I think it's FBI agent that is like, trying to track him down.
In pursuit.
And John Williams, when the movie starts, there's like this really cool like opening credits that I really liked, and there was this really good music to it, and I was like, I really like this music. So I look up to see who it was. It's John Williams.
So yeah, of course.
I was like, yeah, okay. There's a really funny joke where Tom Hanks' character is like kind of very serious, and they're in the car with these dudes, and these dudes are joking, and they're like, you never laugh or do anything. He's like, you want me to tell a joke? And they're like, yeah, tell a joke. And he's like, knock, knock. And they're like, who's there? And then he stops for like, literally, there's like a 10-second pause, and then he's just like, go fuck yourself. It's so funny. Amy Adams is in this movie.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know it. Her and Leo get together in this movie. And when you talk about sexiest movie couples ever, wow. Leonardo DiCaprio and Amy Adams. Great.
Top notch.
And then it's a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. Of him, Leo, just somehow always finding a way to sneak away and like do all of this tricky stuff. But the part that I want to talk about that comes into connection with Sully In the end, he gets caught, obviously.
Right.
He gets caught, and they're riding back on a plane to America. And it's Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio, and they're just talking or whatever. Because they kind of become friends throughout the movie, and you're like, it's kind of like a buddy thing.
Yeah.
And they're looking out the window, and Leo is like, oh, look. Or Leo or Tom, someone's like, oh, look, it's LaGuardia. LaGuardia happens to be the airport that Sully left from.
Okay.
And Sully. That would have been the airport that he would have turned around and went back to. Why do I bring this up?
Why?
They're in a plane.
Right.
And they talk about LaGuardia.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they... What is the significance of him? It never comes up ever again. They're just like, oh, look, it's LaGuardia over there.
Oh, that's famous.
This is like 15 years before Sully comes out? So what happens? Here's my theory. The movie ends, and they end up hiring Leo's character to work with the FBI or whatever.
Okay.
Tom Hanks works with the FBI for a while. He's like, you know what? I'm done with this. I quit. He quits. He becomes a pilot. Changes his name.
Okay.
Obviously becomes Sully. And then flies out of LaGuardia.
Why would he fly out of LaGuardia, though? Because
that's what happens when that happened.
But
in real life, they flew out of LaGuardia.
Oh, so you're saying it's like immediately?
No. Because Catch Me If You Can is like the 40s or something.
Right, exactly. So
yeah.
I don't understand why it'd have to be LaGuardia then. It's just a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence.
Okay.
It's the Tom Hanks connected universe.
I don't know about that one.
I feel like if you saw both of these movies, you would
like
understand.
back to back. Yeah.
You would understand. Okay, fine. Whatever. Also, it has a terrible poster.
If it makes you feel better, I think that Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan is Forrest Gump's dad. So.
Oh. No. If you explained it, I maybe I could get behind that.
Well, because his dad's never there. He's always on vacation. You know, that's what the mom always says. It's like, oh, dad's on vacation. Vacation is when you go somewhere and you never come back. So his dad was in the war and then never came back, and Forrest Gump then went to Vietnam.
Okay.
So what do you think about Forrest Gump? Well, when was the last time you watched it?
It was probably like last year.
Oh, yeah?
I think, yeah. It was on TV or something.
This is another movie that's very well liked. And I'm not saying that it doesn't deserve it.
I'll say it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Forrest Gump is overrated.
No, yeah, I do think it's at least a tiny bit overrated. Or at least maybe a regular-sized bit overrated.
It's overrated.
Especially when you're comparing it to the other movies that were in the Oscars that year.
Shawshank Redemption.
Which is sad. But
tough look.
Tom Hanks, again, doing a very, probably, I would imagine, pretty challenging performance to pull off. Like, imagine every day coming in and doing that performance, you know, for months.
It's definitely, it is one of his best.
Yeah. And I just got to say, I don't like Jenny very much.
Jenny.
I don't think you're supposed to like Jenny, but maybe you're supposed to like her a little bit.
Jenny.
Man, is she a difficult person. But, like, right? Like, it's, obviously, Forrest Gump is like this beacon of good, right?
Right.
He's never, has he ever done anything wrong other than make a faux pas socially? You know, right. No. And then you put him up against people like Lieutenant Dan, who's like super flawed, you know, and Bubba, you know, and his shrimp stuff.
Bubba.
But yeah, the movie probably a little bit overrated. I guess
it's not bad.
It's not bad at all. It's really good.
It's good. It's just overrated.
Yeah, overrated has never meant bad. I feel like people have a problem with that. Where you're like, oh, Marvel movies are overrated. You hate Marvel movies?
What is wrong with you?
No, they're just.
I only hate Endgame.
There you go. But yeah, it was a time of the time thing, but the edited footage, the old footage, you know, that they edit to make it look like he's in there, you know, it doesn't hold up as well when you look back on it.
Right,
what can you do about that? You know,
nothing you can do.
It's not like it bothers me, but it's just it's a little uncanny.
Right. Yeah.
Only because you see stuff like that in like YouTube videos nowadays, so it's weird saying like, oh, that was like the cream of the crop, that's as good as it got, and now it's like you can just look up a video like that on YouTube by some guy in China, you know?
Right.
But it does make me think, I wish someone needs to do that again, because with like deep fake technology, like you could make it look really good nowadays.
Yes, sir.
Like you could really pull it off. But I don't know. Yeah, Forrest Gump, final verdict, Overrated.
Overrated.
But still very good and quotable. Run, Forrest, run. Everyone loves it. And his son is Sora from Kingdom Hearts. So, that's cool.
Yeah, duh. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Forrest Gump is light. What? Polar Express?
All aboard. The Polar Express is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I still think the animation is really creepy.
You're telling me?
I think it's really, really weird. Because they made, what? They made Polar Express. They made Mars Needs Moms, which was by far the creepiest.
Mars Needs Moms.
And I think they made the Scrooge one with Jim Carrey. And that's it. They weren't around for a long time. But all their movies are very creepy. Tom Hanks in this movie he's Tom Hanks.
He's fine.
It's fine.
I don't know. I don't think I have much to say about the Polar Express.
Yeah.
Sure, it's all right.
I liked it when I was a kid.
The scene where they slide on the ice with the train, and then there's a video on YouTube where they have that, but it's edited with the Tokyo Drift music. It's better like that, I must say.
I think the little kid and his stupid pockets are dumb. That's all I have to say about the Polar Express.
Okay, Bridge of Spies. Bridge of Spies was okay.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the ones I saw were just okay. Mark Rylance is good. He won an Oscar. Good for him. The bridge scene, obviously, there's a bridge
And
in
it's
the
made
movie.
of spies.
And there's a bridge of spies. There's the scene where that happens. The climax of the movie is good. The rest of it, I'll be honest, I fell asleep through part of it.
That's kind of the reason I didn't watch it.
invested.
I didn't go out of my I don't know if you watched it. I didn't watch The Circle.
No one wants to see The Circle.
I didn't watch Angels and Demons or
No.
Inferno. I didn't care to. I had Twin Peaks to watch, which is kind of why I lost a lot of that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Bridge of Spies, man. It was okay.
Yeah. I guess I could talk about None But the Lonely Heart because you have no idea what that is.
No.
Because it's not a movie. It's an episode of a TV show.
Oh.
It's an episode of a TV show called Tales from the Crypt. Do you know that?
No.
Tales from the Crypt is, in its most basic form, it's Goosebumps for adults. It's Goosebumps, but there's titties and blood and good stuff. Oh, I don't know if there's titties. It was a TV show, but, there's sexual themes and all that.
Yeah.
This was None But the Lonely Heart, which was directed by Tom Hanks.
Oh, wow.
And he was in it. He did both. And it's an okay episode. It was fine. It's about this dude who marries old women and then poisons them and collects the money, So he'll take these old women. He'll be like, oh, I have an old soul and we were made for each other and blah, 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 blah. And then he poisons them and is like, haha, takes their money. Nice. And I think he throws Tom Hanks into a television set and Tom Hanks gets electrocuted and dies. And that's pretty cool. And at the end, he goes to a graveyard because he gets an anonymous message and he thinks someone's blackmailing him. Goes to the graveyard and all the decaying corpses of all the old women that he's killed come out of the graves and are like, we couldn't live without you and now we can't die without you. And they take him and they rip him apart. And,
oh, jeez.
And they all die. And,
okay.
That was the effects there. The creepy makeup and everything was very good. So, Tom Hanks, you did a pretty okay job on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I think that now, at least for me personally, we're in the territory of movies that I really like.
Okay.
League of Their Own is a baseball movie about the female league where Tom Hanks plays a baseball player who becomes a coach for one of the female league teams. And it's just, about them playing. And obviously it has a very famous line, "There's no crying in baseball."
All right, yeah.
I like that movie. I'm a sucker for baseball, so I guess I might be kind of biased. Yeah. But I really like A League of Their Own. It's one of the better baseball movies.
I don't like baseball very much. The sport, I can watch movies about it, but the sport, it's fine.
You suck. Baseball rocks.
I prefer basketball.
Basketball rocks too.
I mean, they all rock, but if I just had to say, it'd be basketball, baseball, football.
Okay, sure,
Yeah,
whatever.
Me. Why? What do you prefer?
Baseball.
And then
basketball.
And then
curling? No, not curling. I'm trying to think.
Not football?
Third? I like football, but I feel like there's a sport. Well, I guess if I can't think of it, then I guess
probably not.
Then I guess it is football.
Right. So Tom Hanks.
Tennis.
Oh yeah, tennis is cool.
Anyway.
His performance.
In the League of Their Own?
Yeah.
It's really good, of course.
Well, right, yeah.
He's always great. I don't think it's one of his best. Like, I'd say he's better in, like, Castaway in Philadelphia. And, but he is still good in it. It's an older movie. It's from, like, the 80s, I think. It's just, it's classic. He's a baseball
Is it like a feel-good movie? Like
It is. The ending is very sweet.
Good.
You can get emotional, obviously. You can be like, oh, this is so sweet.
And not too sweet.
No, it's not too sweet. Yeah, League of Their Own. Good movie.
I have a movie that's also pretty old. It's from 1982. It's not the first movie he was ever in because I didn't bother. But it's one of the first. It was a made-for-TV movie. And it's called... it's really subtle and it's very tricky. So see if you can guess what this title is a reference to. The title is called Mazes and Monsters.
Mazes and Monsters. Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly. You got it. It's a movie about Dungeons and Dragons, but specifically mazes and monsters. And I'd have no idea. It's bad, by the way. It's not a good movie. I mean, it's not awful, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. Actually, no, I definitely wouldn't recommend it. But
Okay.
unless you're like a huge Tom Hanks fan. But it's about this like group of friends who are playing this game, and Tom Hanks' character gets super into the game. He kind of loses his mind, and he thinks he is his character. So he's going off in New York, and he's trying to finish this quest, and he's run away, and all of his friends are trying to find him. And like, there's a scene where he's like in a subway talking to a homeless man, and he's like, "Prithee, good sir, who are you?" And he's like, I'm a rat man." He's like, "You're the king of rats," and he bows or whatever. It's kind of a funny scene, but it's kind of just bizarre. Every scene without Tom Hanks is kind of boring for the most part because he's playing such a bizarre character. The other guys are just normal people.
Right, yeah.
And it ends with him going to the top of the World Trade Center, which was actually really cool to see footage of the World Trade Center in this movie.
Okay, yeah.
It ends on the top of it, and his whole thing is he needs to jump off to like get to like a certain realm or whatever, but obviously it's not real. They have to convince him, and the movie ends with them convincing him to come down, and then he just stays crazy, and he just like lives with his parents for the rest of his life.
Oh, nice, good for him.
And he's just still crazy forever. I'm like, that's kind of sad. And I guess the movie's saying don't play Dungeons and Dragons.
Dang.
Even though all the main characters, 3 out of 4 of them are normal and healthy, and actually one of them's like the smartest kid in the school.
Nice.
But I don't know, man. Don't bother.
Won't. I'm not gonna check it out. I've already forgot about it.
Right.
I only have two things left. So if you have anything more before we do Toy Story and Captain Phillips.
No, that's all I have.
Which one you want to do first?
I feel like we should do Captain Phillips first.
All right, here we go. Captain Phillips. It's the best Tom Hanks movie. It's the best Tom Hanks performance. It's the best Paul Greengrass movie. It's the best. I love Captain Phillips. This movie rocks.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree on like all points. The movie is really good. It's so easy to watch. You know, it's so easy to just catch any scene and then just watch the rest of the movie.
It's so entertaining.
You know, very engaging film.
It's literally like it starts off. You see the character he plays, Captain Phillips, and he's like doing whatever on his computer. He goes to his boat, and then they get on the boat, and then literally like right after they get on the boat, boom, we're in Somalia. The pirates are getting ready to go raid the ship. Boom, 10 minutes later, they're raiding the ship. They're trying to get on. They're doing the defenses. They're hooking the hoses up. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? They have to back off. They wait. They come back. One of the hoses malfunctions. They find a way. They get up. They get in. When they get in the boat, the movie is literally off the rails.
Right.
It's so intense. The last 20 minutes when he's in the lifeboat thing and they're all in there and they're trying to go back to Somalia and they have the snipers on the aircraft carrier trying to get a good angle on all 3 of the pirates in there, and woo!
I mean, the movie's basically it's nonstop once it starts. You know, it's tension. And I mean, we talked about the movie before. We talked about Barkhad Abdi, you know,
yes,
and his
it's
performance.
His first performance ever.
Yeah, the movie is very well done. It does feel very real, you know, like
and
very threatening. It's like,
yes,
I just feel like you can really empathize with the characters being this position where it's like these aren't military guys.
Yeah, they're just
they're literally just dudes, you know, like they could be your dad, you know,
exactly.
And they're being put in this situation, and a believable turn from Tom Hanks from being like very afraid, you know, like very afraid, but staying kind of staunch at times, and coming around on the situation. It's great.
Yeah, and it's got, look at me, I am the captain now.
I believe I saw this movie like right when it came out. I saw it in theaters, and I knew nothing about it. I went in totally blind at the time, and it was such a surprise because I think the only thing was like, oh, Tom Hanks, I'll go see it, and it was such a shock to be like, wow, it's
so good,
great, you know.
I love Captain Phillips. Also, it is a crime. Tom Hanks was not nominated for an Oscar for this movie, which is a crime against humanity, and should be punishable by death. Aside from that, the final scene after they kill the pirates, and you're like, wow, I can finally breathe for the first time in an hour and 45 minutes. And then he goes in with the doctor to sit down, and the doctor's doing like the checkup. And then you literally just start crying because it's so emotional. His performance of the trauma that he's been through is just so emotional, and it gets me literally every time.
Because it's him coming to the realization of what actually happened.
What has just happened.
You know? Yeah, it's powerful.
And yeah, it's my favorite piece of acting that he's ever done.
Yeah. And
yeah, I love Captain Phillips. If you haven't seen Captain Phillips, literally, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, just buy a Blu-ray right now.
It's
like,
so
you don't even have to see it first. You'll like it. You'll want it. You know? Just get it.
Yes.
So that leaves us one saga left that we're going to talk about here. Because, guys, neither of us saw The Green Mile.
Oh, yes.
It's so long,
to inform.
And we were busy.
I'll see it.
We will. If we ever see it, we'll talk about it in our weeks, you know? No need to worry. But we've got Toy Story left. And no need to go in specifically to any of them, except for maybe 4.
We could say which ones are our favorites.
Oh, sure. Which one? Are you going to rank them? What's up?
I'm going to rank them.
Okay.
Toy Story 3 is the best Toy Story movie.
Okay.
And then Toy Story 1 is the second best.
Okay.
And then Toy Story 2, and then Toy Story 4 is the worst one. But it's still good. I like Toy Story 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say 2 and 1, they could... It depends what day it is.
Oh, I totally disagree. I totally disagree on that. I think 3 and 1 can switch any day, but I still think 3 is the best.
3 is unstoppable.
I think 3 is the best, then 1, and they can switch maybe, and then 2 and then 4.
Yeah, so we got.
So we actually do agree, except I like 1 more than you do. Yeah, they're all good. The main thing that I was for that you totally disagreed with when we saw it was that it's a Woody movie and not a Woody and Buzz movie.
Which one?
4.
Yes.
Where it's like the first 3, it was Woody and Buzz. They were the main characters. And the 4th one, it's just Woody, and Buzz is just as important as like Ham.
Literally, he's like barely in it.
Yeah, and that really disappointed me overall with the film, and I think that's one of the main reasons why it's my least favorite, because it's so Woody centric. But I don't know. I guess it made sense for the movie.
Yeah,
I just wish he could have been incorporated better.
Yeah, it also felt like it didn't really add much, I would say, to the series. Right. Because the way 3 ends, where they all go to the new girl, that's like a perfect ending.
Yeah, it's like an epilogue movie, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. I don't know. I just felt weird because, like, remember Keanu Reeves' character, like the Canadian stunt racer? Like, I thought his character was funny, and I liked seeing him in it, but I was like, Buzz could have done what he did.
Right, yes.
Buzz did stuff like that in the earlier movies. Like, he didn't need to invent this character, even though I liked him. I was like, he could have been something for Buzz to do.
Right.
And they make him, he's like an idiot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Toy Story 4 just does Buzz dirty.
Okay? It really does.
So, I don't know. That's how I feel about that.
That's okay. But the rest of them are great.
Yeah, the rest of them, fantastic.
And Tom Hanks, since, he is the spotlight.
Right.
I don't know. It's either him or Tim Allen, obviously, since they're like the 2 main.
Right.
They both bring great charisma to their characters, and I just really like what they do with, it's just their voices. They don't have much to work with, but they really bring these inanimate objects to life, and it's very good. It's very believable.
Yeah, they're good actors, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they're good actors. They're good at what they do. They're doing it.
A few years ago, I don't know, like, 5 years ago or something like that by now?
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to actually go to a little event where Tom Hanks was speaking, and it was invite only.
Yeah,
all right.
It was very, very exclusive.
Very exclusive. And luckily for you, we do have the Stagler exclusive. We'll play a little soundbite for you here. A clip. We'll maybe link it on our Twitter, maybe tweet the video out or something for you to watch later if you want to see the video as well.
Yes.
But we'll play the audio for you right now. Just the context, this is Tom Hanks. He got asked a question about voice acting for the Toy Story movie specifically, and just what that process is like. And roll the clip.
This roof right away. Come on, guys, we gotta get down for this roof right away. Come on, guys, we gotta get down for this roof right away. Come on, guys, we've got to get down from the roof right away. We gotta get down from the roof right away. Come on, guys, we gotta get down from the roof right away. So you'll do that. You'll do that for 20 times, repetitions, trying to get the appropriate thing out of the line, and then you'll hear, yeah, that's great, Tom. if you could add kind of like a melancholy quality to it. Yeah, sure. Oh, come on, guys, we gotta get down from the roof right away. Come on, guys, we gotta get down from the roof. So you do that, and that's for one line. and you have 40 pages of dialogue that you have to go through. So the answer to what's his name's question? It's hell on planet Earth. And you can't wait for your 5-hour session to finally be done, knowing that in another 6 months they'll call you back and you'll be doing the same thing again. That's what the Toy Story movies are like. Now, you end up supplying them with a big library of blank, just stuff that they could use, elements, and then they end up doing absolute magic to it. So there's no doubt about that. But I will tell you, it is the hardest work I've ever done.
What a great guy. I mean,
he's the best.
Like it really is like listening to the audio there. He really knows how to work a crowd, because it's just him sitting in front of the stage and he's getting everyone laughing and everything.
Yep.
It's really good just presentation from him. It's funny because I guess I've never really met any famous people before other than like athletes, being in an arena or whatever. And,
yeah.
I mean, I don't really count that too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I always was like, I was never starstruck by anybody before. That idea of meeting a celebrity never appealed to me.
Yeah.
But when Tom Hanks did actually walk out onto the stage,
you were like,
back
whoa.
then, I was like, that's actually Tom Hanks.
That's Tom Hanks.
It does get you a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, that is him. And then to actually hear him answer our questions that we got to ask him, that was, well, yes.
That's a story for another day about the questioning that he received.
I don't think we're ever going to tell that story, but he's a really good guy. He loves typewriters. What a cool thing.
He really do be loving typewriters.
Yeah.
He has lots.
I remember there was one thing that he said. He took us all off guard, I think, but he was talking about how he's really bummed out about missing a certain role or something like that. Like he auditioned for a part and he didn't get it, and it really put him in a slump for a while. And I'm pretty sure the exact words that he used, or almost exact, was like, guys, if you ever get bummed out, if some effort doesn't go your way, and you kind of get kicked back and you take a few steps back, take a day to mope, 2 maybe days to just kind of be sad, 3 at the maximum. But after that, don't be a pussy.
Yes.
And he said that, and the room just erupted into laughter. Like, who would imagine him saying that? And that totally caught us off guard. And I don't know.
3 days maximum. Get over it.
Get over it. And I take that. I've held on to that advice.
Yes,
don't let stuff mess with you too much. So, Mr. T. Hanks, thank you for that little tidbit. We appreciate you, and good luck to you and your wife and all your future endeavors.
Yeah, we hope that we can see you in movies for many more years.
Oh, I didn't mention this because I don't know if you were aware, but do you know the woman? Do you remember the other couple from Sleepless in Seattle? Remember when
oh man,
Tom Hanks, they were talking about the Dirty Dozen, and they were like crying. He's like, when he's throwing the grenades down the air shaft. Remember?
Yeah.
The woman in that scene, who is the other guy's wife, is Tom Hanks' real life wife.
Real life wife.
Yeah, that was actually that they
Really?
were together at the time,
Very
and
cool.
they're still together.
Yes.
So I thought that was very sweet. It's more sweetness in a movie that has too much of it.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. We did do it.
We talked about Tom Hanks.
And Tom Hanks is a cool guy.
We did it.
We'll
He's
have him on the
great.
show soon. We'll get him in the studio.
Yeah.
We can talk to him directly.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be soon.
Yeah.
Not next episode, but
Maybe the one after.
maybe the one after. Maybe we'll see. We'll have our.
We're
people
really
call
backed
his
up.
people.
We've Leo wants to get on.
Oscar Isaac was talking about it.
Spielberg.
Yeah, I know.
We're really backed up here.
But we'll get around to it eventually.
We'll get to him.
You're there. So we have an email. Do you remember what the email is?
Guys, we have an email. The staglerpod@gmail.com.
Wonderful.
You can send anything you want.
Literally, well, not anything.
Well, yes. Just keep certain things to yourself. You can ask questions.
If you want your stuff to be read about on the air, you should ask a question.
Yes.
And the likelihood will increase if it's about a movie, but it doesn't necessarily have to be about a movie.
Sure.
But we actually have a question that came in.
We did. Thank you for sending in a question.
Yeah, we very much appreciate it. And
It's very
goes,
exciting.
it starts, Sup Nick, so I guess this is for you and not for me. Great. I got 2 questions for you and not me. 1, I know you don't mind subtitles, so I assume most anime you do, in fact.
First off, I do mind subtitles. I hate everything.
Okay, so I assume most
kidding.
anime you do, in fact, watch in Japanese.
I do.
Is that true?
That would be correct. I do watch most anime in sub.
Are there any cases where you prefer the English dub?
Okay, here's the deal. I'll start it off by saying no.
Okay, great.
There is not another show where I prefer the dub over the sub.
That's a very exciting answer.
But there are certain dubs that I do think are good.
Mm-hmm.
Examples would be Cowboy Bebop
Mm-hmm.
and Full Metal Alchemist. But I would still prefer the Japanese with the subtitles over those. But, another but.
Okay, 2 buts.
In Naruto, there are a few characters where I actually do prefer the dub over the sub. And that would be Orochimaru in the dub, I think, is better
Okay.
than in the sub. And Jiraiya.
Jiraiya, yeah.
Jiraiya's voice actor is very good in the dub.
What about Guy Sensei?
That would be another one.
I like his voice.
Great job, Lee.
Great job, Lee.
The power of youth.
Yeah, he does a really good job of that.
Yeah, so there's a few in Naruto
There's a lot of good
that I would
voice
enjoy.
actors in the English dub of Naruto, though. Like
Yes.
Yuri Lowenthal as Sasuke, right? The guy who does Gaara, he's super famous. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he does a really good job as well.
Sand Coffin.
Yeah. Liam O'Brien? Is that his name? I don't know. Maybe.
you're asking the wrong guy.
Don't quote me on that.
So yeah, that would be my answer to that question.
Well, I wasn't asked this question, but I'm going to answer it anyway.
Yeah.
And I actually do prefer the Cowboy Bebop dub over the sub.
Boo.
But to be fair, I haven't actually watched all of it in the sub. I've only
What the
watched
heck?
parts of it. Because, I mean, I'm going to watch the show again eventually. And when I watch it again entirely, I will watch it totally subbed. But I watched some scenes subbed and the whole thing dubbed, and I prefer the dub in that case.
Okay.
And then the other one is one that I think is kind of interesting because I don't know anybody who prefers the sub for this anime, and that's Dragon Ball. I don't know one person who's like, oh yes, I love the sub of Dragon Ball way more than the dub. Most people, it's like, oh, I watch the sub because I want to keep current.
Yeah.
But I much prefer the dub, and I'd have to agree.
I don't watch Dragon Ball, so I have no opinion.
I don't keep up with Dragon Ball, but I do watch enough of it. And so you don't know this about the sub for Dragon Ball, but Goku sounds like a grandma because Goku is voiced by a grandma. So it's a very jarring thing to go from the English one. You know, he has this very powerful voice, and then he goes, voice in the Japanese one. And that's one, I think it's an interesting case because almost everyone's like, yeah, the English dub is where it's at for that one, you know?
Dub.
And there's also he mentions it in the email here, but there's also another dub that is very interesting. You know about it.
I do know about this.
It's called Ghost Stories, the anime. And this was an anime. It's kind of in the veins of Scooby-Doo. Like, take Scooby-Doo and make it an anime,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, because it's a group of kids. They've got a talking cat. You know.
Yeah.
It kind of fits. And in Japan, it was played very straight. It was like more of a drama, and it didn't do very well.
No. Not
so
good.
When they took it over to America, they're like, guys, you can like spruce the script up a bit if you want. And,
oh boy, did they.
And they were like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, just, do whatever, as long as you keep it basically the same. They're like, so you mean the plot has to be basic? And they're like, yeah, okay. They went, all right, okay, bet. And guys, the dub, this is the official dub for this anime.
It's the best.
Nowadays, it's pretty out there. It would not be looked upon favorably.
It's it's so funny though.
It's very raunchy, very juvenile.
Please watch it.
It's
on YouTube.
Yeah, look up a compilation of stuff, and you'll know by the very first clip if it's gonna be the type of thing to make you laugh. Because you're either gonna laugh or you're gonna be disgusted.
Yes,
But yeah, it's such a trip because it's the official dub. It's not a fan dub.
Yep.
This is officially real. What America got for this anime.
Yep.
And when you put it into that perspective, it makes it all the more funnier.
It is so funny.
Like, I don't even know if we could play a clip just because it's so.
It's probably just better. It's better to not.
Yeah.
Go see it. Look it up on YouTube. You'll find it right off the bat.
Right.
Ghost Stories dub.
There you go. And yeah, there's compilations all over. I think, I don't know if it's on a streaming service anywhere, if you can watch it anywhere.
I don't know.
I want to say it is because I was watching it like a year ago. I actually started like watching every episode, and it is really a trip.
It's very good.
So now we're in the final part of our show here.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. Why don't you hit me with it first?
Okay. I want to say, firstly,
okay,
I'm going to spare you and everybody that listens to this the pain and suffering of me reading this one review. That is literally, I had to take 4 screenshots to read it. That's how long it is. I'm not going to read it.
Good.
Just know it's a Catch Me If You Can one, and the title of it is God Save Us from the Spielberg Touch.
Okay.
Wow. I'm not going to read it, but just know. Okay. Here is mine. Mine kind of gives it away, so this kind of sucks.
You just said it was Catch Me If You Can one.
Yeah, no, the real one.
Oh, okay.
That was one that I wasn't going to read because it's
gotcha.
like too long.
I thought you meant we wouldn't read all of it.
Oh, no, I'm not going to read any of it. It's... Okay, fine. I'll give a synopsis.
Okay.
The guy watched 10 minutes of the movie and walked out of the theater, and this is his review of it. And it's literally
that long?
Yeah, it's so long. I swear.
And it's longer than the script that he saw play out.
He says, this is the first sentence of it. I lasted about 10 minutes in this gem before running from the theater in disgust. What?
That's whatever.
And this review that I actually am going to read seems to be, this is just one that I chose out of just a sea of basically people saying the exact same thing about this movie. Here we go. Back to film school with you.
Greengrass. I understand it may be his thing as a director to film every single shot in a handheld fashion, but it makes Captain Phillips an incredibly unpleasant and frustrating thing to watch.
There is simply
we
no
did this.
excuse not to use a
We
tripod.
picked the same one.
None at all. It is pathetic how this pointless and infantile fad spreads to other films too. Don't waste your time or money on this garbage. There are far more sensible things you could be seeing. Sorry, Greengrass, but it seems you've still got a lot to learn about the fundamentals of filmmaking. The use of a tripod being your biggest oversight. 1 out of 10.
It's on a boat, for one. So even if you use a tripod, it's on a boat.
It's very tough.
That, again, and since I was looking at the same things as you, I even picked this. I had two because I was afraid that we would both pick this one because of...
What the heck? You had to scroll like so far to find that one.
I know.
I'm upset. Of course we found the same
But
one.
I have another one, and I have a problem with the other one.
Okay.
But the one that I hate about this one is how holier than thou this one comes off as.
Oh boy, here
this
we
guy
go.
knows so much more. What's up?
Give it to me.
No, I was talking about the one we just read.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the...
No, the one we just read. He's like he knows so much better
He
than.
said, I know
Greengrass.
all about filmmaking, and this very well-decorated director knows nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Now
This
the
guy's
problem
an
with
idiot.
this other one I have is I forget what movie it's for.
Oh, ooh, it'll just be like a mystery then. Let's do it.
No,
See if I
but
can figure it out.
because I'm pretty sure this is for Captain Phillips.
Read it.
Worst movie of this year. I really hated this movie. Give me my money back, please. From the start to the end, this was awful. Although some of Hank's previous movies are even worse, for instance, The Da Vinci Code.
So pre-Da Vinci Code, or post-Da Vinci Code.
The love story was unbelievable. Who would love Tom Hanks?
Yeah, I was saying there's no love story.
Who would love Tom Hanks' character? The part with the goat was also totally out of place.
The goat.
I mean, I like goats in most movies, but this just felt wrong.
What?
The best scene in the movie was the end credits. I really enjoyed them. Some of the best end credits in a long time. And why was the movie so long? They should... Wait. It felt like I actually went on an airplane and traveled around the world. The movie should have been set on a spaceship. That would have cut the travel and runtime considerably, and the movie into a short film. What? This is a... Like, this...
What is that guy talking
I
about?
don't know what this guy is talking about. Is this some kind of cut of the movie that I never saw? Like, I don't... And again, 1 out of 10, because of course.
The part with the goat.
Right. Did any of the movies that you watch have a goat in them?
No.
Again, all the movies I watched, none of them had a goat.
Is there a goat in Captain Phillips that I'm missing? Like when they're in Somalia? I don't know.
Maybe. But what did they do with... I don't remember a goat ever.
I don't either. This is why
So it makes me think that maybe this guy clicked on the wrong movie and left a review for the wrong...
But he still says Tom Hanks. Though.
Right, so it has to be a Tom Hanks movie. So it's like, which is the Tom Hanks movie with the goat? Guys, if you know the Tom Hanks movie with the goat,
email us
and tell us.
the Stagler Pod.
Give us a timestamp and we'll figure it out. Anyway.
That guy's such a weirdo.
We talked about a goat today, and that was Tom Hanks.
The goat.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. That is a bold statement.
I was just making a funny... He's pretty good.
He's good, yeah. He's a good actor.
And that's basically the end of the show. But, guys, next fortnight, what's going on, Nick?
You need to know what's going on, guys, because next episode we're gonna be talking about something big.
What's that?
Something real big. And it's not Hodor's genitals. That's for sure.
He's got the blood of the giants in him.
He does. We're going to be talking about Game of Thrones.
The show, predominantly.
The show. We're going to be talking about a year later because by the time the next episode comes out, it will be right around the time of the series finale that happened last year that had fans
In a frenzy.
Oh, man, it was tough.
Yes.
I'm sure you've heard about the ending of Game of Thrones. We're going to talk about it. We're going to say this year later, if you've never seen it, is it worth it?
Is it
To
worth
hop
it
on the Game of Thrones train?
to watch it?
Is it worth to check it out? Who knows?
we'll figure that out next episode.
Yeah, we will. Until next time.
This has been
The Stagler.